melting down. Oh, no, Trump is going to lose another trade war. Oh, no, whatever shall we do? Russia and Ukraine is a mess, and yada, yada, yada. It was all bad. Yet, if you followed the news throughout the day and you made it to, what was it, like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it seemed that everything the mainstream media had been complaining and moaning and whining about had been resolved. Isn't that amazing? From a ceasefire with Ukraine to the tariff war being done with Canada for the time being, and more. It just seemed like the Trump team was on it yesterday. They had Trump and Elon Musk outside the White House. Trump bought a Tesla, which is, I don't know. For me, I chuckle because once you're the president, you're never allowed to drive again. So, I don't know.
He bought it for the fantasy of the situation.
It was performance art at the end of the day. Also, people forget this, but I didn't forget. He already has a Cybertruck.
Yeah, he does.
He does. He already has one. Aiden Ross, one of the Twitch live streamers, gave it to him during the campaign.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny.
So now he owns 2 Teslas. People are like, ooh, who are you going to give it to? Barron, Kai? Like, you know, there's probably some people in his family that could use it, but he's never going to be able to drive that thing.
No, absolutely not. But I thought it was funny. He gets out of the car, and the first thing that he does is he stands up and he just goes, pretty good. Just like, that's great.
People are already making remixes of him walking into the car or sitting in the car and be like, wow, it's all computers. It's like, wow, it's all computers. I love it.
It's good.
I love it. But Doug Ford, let's start with Doug Ford. Doug Ford completely backed down in the face of Donald J. Trump yesterday. We got the video and the audio for you. If you're watching over on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe. We do appreciate it. But he said, he's talking about Doug Ford. Doug Ford he's just trying to be the toughest man in Canada. Let's be perfectly honest. Everybody knows it's not Trudeau. Doug Ford's like, maybe I can fill that void. So he's acting tough. The word around the water cooler is that he didn't just piss off America. He also pissed off the other premiers in Canada, which is essentially the governor. If I'm correct, it's essentially the governor of their provinces, their states. So Premier Doug Ford pissed off all the other governors because he was going to put in a 25% surcharge on electricity going to Minnesota, don't you know, New York, and one other state. Was it Michigan? I think it might have been Michigan. I could be wrong on the third state. Don't quote me, but Google it. Find out. So he's going to put a 25% surcharge on the electricity. And Trump said, oh, word, cool. Well, we're going to up our tariffs to 50% on steel and aluminum. And that's going to be for everyone across all of Canada. So I think Doug Ford got chewed out on both sides. On the Canadian side of the border, they weren't very happy with him. And on the American side of the border, we weren't very happy with him. But Donald Trump, talking about a very strong man in Canada who called to say he's not going to be charging those surcharges.
That already counted, and I respect very much. As you know, there's a very strong man in Canada who said he was going to charge a surcharge or a tariff on electricity coming into our country. He has called and he said he's not going to do that. Okay, he's not going to do that. And it would have been a very bad thing if he did. And he's not going to do that, so I respect that. But we were just informed that he's not going to do that. Look,
knee status, it is bent. The knee status, we're currently at bent.
We've been treated very unfairly by Canada. We've been treated very unfairly by Mexico.
Yep.
But we've been treated very unfairly by every country all over the world. The European Union is horrible. Yep. And we're going to get it back. And I have a choice. I could just coast, and eventually there'd be a blow-up down the road, maybe a long way. But we owe $36 trillion, and we're going to get it back. We're the biggest, we're the best, and I'm very optimistic. I have to tell you, I'm very optimistic about the country. Much more optimistic this way than if I did it the easy way. Yeah. I could have done it the easy way. I could have coasted. Biden left us a mess.
Is that the understatement of the year? Biden left a mess? I feel like that's the understatement of the year. Biden left us a mess. Could have done it the easy way. Could have kicked the can down the road. But no. Trump wants to build the economy up on a firm foundation. And it starts with, reasonable trading deals with our allies. Again, when you have a, what is it, 290% tariff on dairy going into Canada, it's like, with friends like these, who needs enemies? Yeah, the trading is very lopsided, very unfair, and Trump wants to fix it. Doug Ford tried to act tough, and it looks like he effed around and found out the hard way on both the Canadian side and the American side.
He left us tremendous inflation, tremendously high costs of products. He left us a mess, but he also left us a mess with millions of people that poured into our country that are criminals. Millions of those people happen to be criminals. And we're looking for them all over the place. We're looking for them. And Homan and Christie are doing an incredible job. But he left us a horrible situation, and we're changing it. But one of the things we're changing is we're going to make our country really wealthy again. We're going to bring our jobs back. Right now, we're like a chicken that's being plucked at from all over the world. We're not going to let that happen anymore.
Nope, no more plucking under the Trump administration. That is for sure. Feathers will stay in. But so we had Howard Lutnick essentially call the Ontario Premier Doug Ford. Then they issued a joint statement yesterday following that conversation about the economic relationship between Canada and the United States, the ongoing trade war. I say that with air quotes. I don't think it's a real trade war. I think Canada would lose their lunch very, very quickly. And the only thing that America would have to do to win a trade war with Canada would be sit on our hands and be patient. Let's be perfectly honest. The American economy is not dependent on Canada. The Canadian economy is very dependent on America. And I'm sure that's what was discussed over the call. The leaders discussed ongoing trade tensions and their shared interest in fostering a stronger economic bond between the two nations. As a result of their discussion, Lutnick confirmed he will be meeting with Ford, Doug Ford, the Ontario Premier, in Washington. That is going to be tomorrow, alongside the United States Trade Representative, to discuss the renewal of the USMCA, the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement. The meeting is set to address key issues ahead of the upcoming April 2nd deadline for reciprocal tariffs. Doug Ford saying on social media yesterday, Secretary Lutnick agreed to officially meet with Premier Ford in Washington on Thursday, March 13th, alongside U.S. trade representatives, to discuss a renewed USMCA ahead of the April 2nd deadline. In response, Ontario agreed to suspend its 25% surcharge on exports of electricity to Michigan, New York, and Minnesota. Don't you know? I was right about Michigan. Did you notice that? I was right. I wasn't sure, but I was right. Ford announced that Ontario would suspend its 25% surcharge on exports of electricity to the U.S., including Michigan, New York, Minnesota. Ford had warned Monday and Tuesday that the escalating trade war between U.S. and Canada could lead to even more drastic measures. Oh, no. Anything but drastic measures. I think personally, this is a good thing at the end of the day. Even the back and forth, nothing's happening right now. But the fact that Canada threatened a 25% surcharge on electricity to New York, Michigan, and Minnesota, don't you know? It's eye-opening, right? They threatened to cut off electricity to some of these states. And it just shows that America needs to be an energy-independent nation. Point blank, period, full stop, all the things we need to be. And if we're depending on Canada for electricity, we're not. We're not. Under Trump during his first term, we were supposed to be we essentially were energy independent. We need to get back to that very, very quickly. We also, I think this was before the premier lifted the threats, but we had the Associated Press was inside the White House press briefing room. And they had been kicked out of the gaggles for dead naming the Gulf of America. But we had the Associated Press inside the White House press briefing room, and the AP got into it with Carolyn Levitt because of these tariffs that were going to be put on because of the surcharge that was going to be put on electricity. And Carolyn Levitt just absolutely destroyed the AP yesterday in a White House press briefing. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't sure that she had this in her. I didn't realize that Carolyn Levitt was such a badass, but she is. She is. So the AP reporter was kind of giving her you know what about the tariffs, and he said, Do you know what happened? I've been affected by tariffs personally. I've been affected by tariffs personally. This is what the exchange sounded and looked like.
Later this year.
I'm sorry, have you ever paid a tariff? Because I have.
They
don't get charged on foreign companies. They get charged on the importers.
And ultimately, when we have fair and balanced trade, which the American people have not seen in decades, as I said at the beginning, revenues will stay here, wages will go up, and our country will be made wealthy again. And I think it's insulting that you're trying to test my knowledge of economics and the decisions that this president has made. I'm now regret giving a question to the Associated Press. Mary.
Fatality. Flawless victory. She didn't get a scratch on her. And the AP reporter, if you're watching on the stream, you probably saw him. He did the whole hand over the chest like, oh, heavens. Anything but a tariff. Have you ever personally paid a tariff?
Have you ever paid a tariff?
Yeah, no. No.
Do you take the receipt down to the office and go, here, I'm going to pay my tariff?
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm here to pay my tariff, sir. No. Hey, Matt Murphy's on the line. Matt, have you ever personally paid a tariff?
I cannot say that I have paid a tariff, Chris, individually. Although, I tell you what, I'm down at the Cordell Hall building, so I can see if there's a tariff office. I can pay for everybody. You know what I mean?
Hey, this is what Matt Murphy does for you. He'll cover the tariffs for us. What are you doing down there today, man? You're busy.
Yeah, listen, it's a great day on the Hill. You know, normally when we're talking about state government, it's probably something negative. Some positive coming out of the Republican-led legislature, the General Assembly. But today's a real positive day. You guys hear me talking about Men of Valor all the time, and this is a day on the Hill for the graduates of the Men of Valor program to come down and meet their legislators, meet their senators, and really talk to them about the success of the program. This is bringing God into our prison system. It's something that the state can't do. Because we know the ACLU and some of these other organizations prevent bringing Bible study into the prison system. Well, Men of Valor brings that into the prison system through their relationship with the Tennessee General Assembly and through their relationship with the Department of Corrections. And they bring men to God, and they turn recidivism rates that are over 50%, and in some cases, in some states, up to 70%. In the state of Tennessee, Men of Valor graduates, they turn that recidivism rate from over 50% to less than 15%. And what that does, if that doesn't turn your heart, what it does is save you money. I mean, incarcerating people in the state of Tennessee costs $111.53 a day.
Facts.
And so what we're doing is trying to encourage the folks on the Hill to continue to support Men of Valor, to meet some of the graduates of the program. We're going around to various offices, and we'll have the opportunity to call you from some of these offices from time to time throughout the course of the show, and let us know how it's going, Chris.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to you checking in. I wonder how anybody would have an issue with what Men of Valor is doing over there at the Tennessee legislature.
You know, I'm hard-pressed to figure it out myself. You know, I understand. I think, the appropriation for Men of Valor, and this is basically, this is the connective relationship between the state of Tennessee and Men of Valor. I think the appropriation is $5 million. I would argue that by lowering the recidivism rate, keeping men out of the prison system and making them productive, tax-paying members of the state of Tennessee, you're saving that money hand over fist. You're saving money. You're not spending money. So, if there's any monetary consideration or anything else, I'll report back. But we expect a great day. We'll be here until about 12 o'clock. So if anybody's around, you can come see us, and we'll be checking in with you.
Yeah, and where exactly are you again, Matt?
If you we're in the Cordell Hall building, and if you're familiar at all with the state capitol, if you're looking at the Andrew Jackson statue outside the state capitol, you're looking at the Cordell Hall building, and public is welcome. It's your building, so all you got to do is go through a little bit of security. Hey, I'll tell you this though, the security down here at Cordell Hall, big fans of Chris Hand, big fans of Matt Murphy and Super Talk. I felt like somebody important, Chris. I know that I'm not. Don't get me wrong.
Anecdotally speaking, we're the number one show with security at Cordell Hall.
That's what I'm told. I'm standing in line in security, and you can identify with this, Hand. There was a time where I would have reacted very differently to what happened to me today, because I'm standing in line waiting to go through security, and a state trooper walks up to me, and a man in uniform says, "Are you Matt Murphy?"
Oh no!
Now, in my 20s, brother, that would be a very different answer. But my answer was, "Yes, I am." He goes, "Come on, we'll get you through here and get you up to the 8th floor." So, big fans of Super Talk here at Cordell Hall. So come on and I'm serious, folks. If y'all are downtown, come down and meet some of these men. It will put God on your heart to talk to some of these guys and hear their stories.
Amen. What Men of Valor are doing is so important, man. And I love that you've partnered up with them and that you're bringing their message and spreading it as far and as wide as you can. Shout out to Murphy being down there today. We'll check in with you in a little bit. Sound good?
Sounds good, man.
All
We'll
right,
talk
brother.
to you.
That's Matt Murphy again. He's at Cordell Hall with Men of Valor today. I love what they're doing over there. I love Men of Valor. So we'll check with him throughout the show. But we got a lot to cover. And on the way, we got more audio from outside the White House yesterday where Elon Musk and Donald Trump were having a bit of a press conference, taking some questions from reporters. And it was a pretty cool scene. Not everybody was happy about it. In fact, quite a few leftists accused this of being one giant Tesla ad. How dare they? We'll bring you that when we get back. Plus, we'll underline why that is a ridiculous statement right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Up ahead, we have breaking news. A Senate Democrat has announced her retirement. We've got that coming up, and President Trump's tariffs and the response from the EU coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Who is it, Joan?
Not telling. You got to listen, man.
I'm not even going to listen. I'm just going to Google. I'm going to beat you
You
to
wouldn't
it.
do that to me.
I'm going to beat you to it. Do I or do I not spoil Joan's news tease?
On a regular basis.
I feel like I should.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, it would not be the first
I
time.
feel like I should retire. Oh, it was her?
Yeah.
All right, I'm not. I was hoping for like vodka skeleton or something along those lines. I won't spoil this one.
All right.
I'll leave it for Joan.
Thanks.
That's coming up in the news. All right, so I wanted to cover this. They're mad. The lefties are mad.
As usual.
Yeah, they're mad. There was a Tesla ad at the White House yesterday. Yeah. Well, I got a clip from Scott Jennings, but I want to make sure I give it the time, so I'll play that after the news. But did you see Secretary Wright, our energy secretary, talking about Ontario and their threats to put a 25% surcharge on electricity? This was pretty funny because he's talking to Will Kane over at Fox News. And he's like, "Oh, by the way, that's already been removed, that surcharge."
That we depend on coming from Canada. Well, hydroelectric. They have dams in Ontario that got to go to marketplace, and those dams are not far from the U.S. border. So we do have free flow of electricity, free flow of oil and natural gas both ways across the U.S.-Canadian border. Energy systems are large scale, so they just tend to be built that way. But yeah, of course, that was an outrageous claim that we heard coming out of Canada. But I want to point out, of course, it's already been removed. Threatening energy security. That's why President Trump got elected. We were really degrading energy security in this country for 4 straight years.
And Donald Trump and the conservative movement, the MAGA movement, well, they're going to get us back to energy independence. Leftists be damned. The leftists are pretty mad, though. Trump keeps winning. They keep losing. So they're pulling at straws. What should we be mad about? Oh, I know. There was a Tesla commercial on the White House at the White House yesterday. Scott Jennings shut him down, though. I'll bring you that clip when we get back. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning now, 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. That rolling roadblock is still there this morning. It's on 24 westbound now at Rocky Ford Road overpass, and it's blocking off 2 left lanes this morning. Stop and go traffic from Almaville up to that spot. We have breaking news. New Hampshire Democrat Senator Jeanne Shaheen will not seek re-election, becoming the 3rd Senate Democrat to announce their retirement ahead of the midterms. Shaheen sits on the Committee of Foreign Relations and on Armed Services. President Trump's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum take effect today, and the EU has responded.
The European Union announcing that they are putting up to $28 billion of tariffs on U.S. goods. It comes as the president is also promising to do another round of retaliatory tariffs early next month.
ABC's Mary Bruce. Some local industry news. Frito-Lay has purchased an 8-acre site in Clarksville. It expects to expand its distribution operations on Tylertown Road. And in Coffee County, an aerospace modeling and manufacturing company expanding in Tullahoma, adding 30 jobs there. Governor Bill Lee on hand yesterday as Model Tech announced a $4.5 million investment. It is a strategic location close to Arnold Air Force Base. And a traveler was alerted on yesterday by a body scanner at Newark Liberty Airport for something that he had in the groin area of his pants. TSA officials say they administered a pat-down and then a search, and they found a small turtle. It wasn't even a rare variety. It was a red-eared slider turtle. They're one of the most popular breeds in the U.S. That turtle was turned over to the animal control officers, and that man escorted out of the airport. TSA officials say that was a first for them. That's the latest news. We've got weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
32 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It is spring rebate madness from Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling all month long. You can get some great rebate deals. How about a mini split 17 SEER or heat pump 17 SEER? That'll land you an $800 rebate. A heat pump 15 or 16 SEER, a $500 rebate. Maybe you need some duct seal or repair. That can land you a $300 rebate. And then if you need a tune-up, man, $50 rebates on all the tune-ups. Time to get your tune-up is now. You don't want to find out that your AC isn't working the way it should be when it's 110 degrees outside. Get your AC working at maximum efficiency via Busy Bee right now. And when you sign up for that Beehive Club membership, man, it's going to pay for itself. If you're getting $50 rebates on every tune-up, well, you get one in the spring, you get one in the fall, and it pays for your $99 Beehive Club membership right there. You get so much value with the Beehive Club membership. 3 annual tune-ups, 10% off all repairs, front-of-the-line service, a $100 annual accrued replacement credit, no overtime or holiday fees, and exclusive Beehive member promotions. Call them today and get signed up for that Beehive Club membership. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. Online, busybeehvac.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
$37 minutes past the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to the show wherever you go with the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the 99.7 WTN app. You can also watch the show. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and our personal favorite, YouTube, where we have the most red-pilled chat in history. Hit like and subscribe while you're over there on YouTube, and make sure that you put us on your TV when you're stuck at home.
Which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool, like, I don't know, kind of feel professional.
It does.
I mean, we are professional, but
It does.
on a whole nother level.
We're bringing more video elements into the YouTube broadcast as
Which
well.
is my favorite. I think it's dope.
When you hear the sound on your radio, we're also playing the video on the YouTube stream. It's a work in progress. We're going to get better as we do it, but we're looking.
But
forward
only
to
up from here.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
You know, speaking of that YouTube chat, you're getting some shout outs.
Me?
Yeah. Weren't you on Rav the other day?
I was on Real America's Voice last night.
Yes, sir. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, Mr. Maga. Mr. Maga watched this. Yeah. I did the Turning Point Tonight show last night.
Yeah.
With Joe Bob.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was fun, man. It's really weird. Like, I'll be honest with you. So you do these news hits.
Yeah.
And it's the craziest thing. All I need is a cell phone and some ear pods.
Oh, that's cool.
And a ring light. And then I'm like, I just set up in the living room.
Already set up?
I just set up in the living room. And I tell Virginia, I say, can you take the kids outside for 20 minutes?
Yeah, did they ever run
give me a
into the
second.
scene?
No, they haven't done that. It wasn't like my snow day where I did the show live from my living room. No. When I record for the TV stuff, no, the Virginia does an awesome job. She's like, kids, you got to stay outside for a second.
I mean, at least the snow days prepped you for it, though.
Yes, and at least yesterday was a bit warmer. I mean, absolutely.
Oh my goodness,
gorgeous out there yesterday. We're getting spoiled, and I hope that this isn't another fake spring.
Oh, I'm hoping not to.
Are we hearing that it may be another fake spring?
I think there are a couple rumors on it, but I'm
Next
hoping.
week's gonna turn cold again. Yeah.
Yeah, but
all right.
It's not as cold as it has been, though,
Right.
right? Yeah.
Right.
All right, so fake spring. We're in fake spring.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
No problem.
So the leftist media yesterday had a really tough time dealing with all of the victories of Donald Trump. You had this big press gaggle, a little press conference kind of thing outside the White House. Trump buys a Tesla. He got a ceasefire deal coming via Ukraine. Russia still has to accept, but listen, you're halfway there. Trump said it was harder to deal with Ukraine than it's been to deal with Russia. So you got that. You have the 25% surcharge from Ontario. The Premier Doug Ford, that he removed that because he didn't want to get into a trade war with America. So the leftist media, they didn't really know what to complain about Donald Trump for. Couldn't nail him on the tariffs. Couldn't nail him on the ceasefire. What do we do? Well, CNN had an idea. They said, let's call him a car salesman. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Except for the fact that they did this on a panel with Scott Jennings. And Scott Jennings, well, he shut them down in a way that only Scott Jennings can.
Teslas, they're cool cars, but the president is clearly trying to do his friend, political donor, actually government employee, a pretty big favor here for his private business.
It's hardly the first time we've had cars on the South Lawn. Man, here's a video of Joe Biden driving a Jeep Rubicon around the South Lawn. I mean, it's pretty common.
And President Trump did it before in his first term as well.
It's pretty common for the President of the United States to boost American industries, American-made products, and companies that are, employing Americans. It's extremely common. He obviously has a close relationship with Elon, who, by the way, is, I think, unfairly under attack. And this company is unfairly under attack. You have these insane people all over the country chasing people down in their Teslas in New York City. I had a friend who tried to trade his Tesla in New York the other day, and there were protesters screaming at his children.
Look,
these people are unhinged.
There is some
I'm just trying to trade in my car. Please stop yelling at my kids. Please. This is the current state of the left. Have you seen the videos where the dude is like chasing down a Cybertruck and banging on the window? And it's like, isn't it? That's a bullet. It's bulletproof. You're probably not punching through it. I don't know. I don't know how science works.
When that guy ran off, I thought that he was like shaking his hands like that hurt him.
Yeah.
And of course you hope it does.
Yeah. But this is all that the left has. He's a car salesman. Okay, yep. And Joe Biden did it as well. Joe Biden did it during his campaign too. Do you remember all the beeping horns during 2020? I swear nobody was in those cars and somebody was just hitting the panic button. Still.
Just racing between keys.
To this day, I swear there was an intern with about 30 key fobs just on her lap, hitting the different panic buttons at different times to make it seem like everybody was engaged. Like, remember that? The drive-in during the pandemic?
They had to drive into the circles on the parking lot.
So weird.
Yeah.
So weird. But yeah. Trump's a car salesman. They say And they're mad because they can't go at him for any of the stuff that they had probably originally planned to go after him for, like the 25% surcharge from Doug Ford, which, again, Trump said yesterday, that's not happening.
Already Canada, and I respect very much. As you know, there's a very strong man in Canada who said he was going to charge a surcharge or a tariff on electricity coming into our country. He has called and he said he's not going to do that. Okay, he's not going to do that. And it would have been a very bad thing if he did. And he's not going to do that, so I respect that. But we were just informed that he's not going to do that.
Yeah, so then the leftist media has nothing to go after Trump on. I did notice something. Did you notice this in this video? Elon is one of the, if not the most pale man in America. Is that just me?
I don't think he sees the sun very often.
No, I mean, you get a spray tan guy. imagine if Elon started spray tanning the way Trump does.
Be matching.
He just showed up
the
orange.
Little circles around his eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really pale.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
What kind of SPF do you think he's using?
At least 150.
3,000. SPF 3,000. All right, so Trump versus Canada. He said, he posted this to Truth Social, and it's so true. Why would our country allow another country to supply us with electricity, even for a small area? Who made these decisions and why? And can you imagine Canada stooping so low as to use electricity that so affects the life of innocent people as a bargaining chip and threat? They will pay a financial price for this that is so big that it'll be read about in the history books for many years to come. I think that might have been the Truth Social post that made Doug Ford go, yeah, I probably shouldn't do this. Or maybe it was the one that made the other premiers call Doug Ford and go, what the hell are you doing to us? What the hell are you doing? Doug Ford backed down very quick. Again, the knee status of Canada currently bent. Elon Musk, while he was on the White House lawn with the car salesman in chief, Donald Trump, he said that he's actually going to double the output of vehicles being made by Tesla within the next 2 years.
So, then if I sat back for 4 years and had a good time in the Oval Office, I want to look at cars.
Mr. President, I have an announcement to make that very helpful. I want to say, as a function of the great policies of President Trump and his administration, and as an act of faith in America, Tesla is going to double vehicle output in the United States within the next 2 years.
That's a big deal. That's good. Thank you.
Now, if you're watching on the stream, you're seeing the video along with it, but you'll notice when Elon makes that announcement, Trump just smacks him on the back. I don't think Trump knew that announcement was coming. Can you check the Tesla stock? Did that give the Tesla stock a bump?
I'll check. Yeah,
check the Tesla stock. I don't know. For me, that was my first thought. Is everybody's the Tesla stock is in the tank. I don't think Elon really is worried about it, but the stock market. I wonder if they got a bump out of that. They very well could have.
It's been going down. It just had a recent shift though, so it's starting to push towards up.
Yeah, I mean
it's leveling out a little bit right now.
At the end of the day, I don't think Elon's very worried, but they're going to double the output of the vehicle output of Tesla within the next 2 years.
And by the way, he makes one car. This one I don't understand. This one I don't want, but that's okay. Without a steering wheel, it comes out next year. Right?
Yes.
Explain that, please.
Yes. The Cybercab starts production in Texas next year, and it's self-driving. We have so much confidence in the self-driving nature of it that it'll actually not have a steering wheel. It will not have pedals. It'll either self-drive or not drive at all, but it'll self-drive.
Would you get into a car with no steering wheel?
Oh, I don't know.
Nope.
I don't think.
I see this as I do think that this is going to have a real world benefit for a lot of people. Like
it's going to change a lot of things for sure.
My mother and father-in-law have been in town all week, and I don't want to besmirch her while she's in town.
Oh man, you better not. I think she probably helps you watch the kids, right?
My mother-in-law got pulled over one time for driving too slow on the highway.
Oh wow.
Oh.
So she doesn't drive. She doesn't drive as much anymore since the incident. One time, One time, we were dropping off a rental car and she was following me and we hopped on the highway, and I was like, "We got to go faster than 35. We just have to." So, but my point is, I do see some real world application for this with a steering wheel-less car. Is that what you would say? Steering wheel-less?
I
Car
guess
with no
so.
steering wheel.
Self-driving.
I do see like this could give a lot of people some freedom back, you know, when mom and dad are too old to drive and the license need to be taken away. This remedies that issue, does it not?
Yeah, it gives them the opportunity to still be able to move around without having to worry about other people. Yeah.
It also remedies the issue of people who are speeding and cutting in and out of traffic on 24 like they do every day.
Yes, they do.
They cut in and out of traffic just to get stopped again by more traffic.
Yes.
There are times in on 24 though where I've texted Mandis. I said, "Don't worry, I'm about to go full Mario Kart and get there in time." Because I do. I feel that. I would take a self-driving car. I want the steering wheel in there to have that feature. I spend so much time on 24 that I want the self-driving. And I've actually been in a self-driving Waymo cab before.
Oh.
Like a driverless cab in Phoenix. It was really weird. It was a really weird experience, but I would do it again. It didn't
interesting.
Make
was
me
there
nervous.
a driver just to like make you feel comfortable? Or?
No. There was nobody. There was nobody in there except for a robot voice who was very, very polite. Very welcoming.
It better be.
But it was a trippy experience. And I felt comfortable doing it. I was in Phoenix, and that whole city is set up like a grid. But it's removed my fear of the self-driving cars. I would absolutely sign up for a self-driving car. And then the steering wheel, the car without a steering wheel, I just see a huge benefit for some of our elderly population who still want that freedom, still want to be able to cruise about the country and around their town and go do errands and this and that. But, you know, the license has been taken away. I think that you're actually going to see a much larger market for that than people really anticipate. Because grandpa wants to go do grandpa things. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to be trapped at home and have to be dependent on the kids. This would remedy that, would it not? I think it would. And if somebody was going to take my license away, I would definitely sign up for a no steering wheel car. I wonder if you need, like, would you get pulled over in that? And if you didn't have a license, would you be in trouble?
Well, here's another issue. Like if it's on autopilot, how does it know there's an officer trying to stop you?
Well, I would assume that the cameras would pick that up.
Maybe. Okay.
I would hope so.
But you wouldn't be stopped, theoretically.
What if your taillight's out? Or expired tags. All the stuff that's out of your control kind of thing. Those would be my only guesses for getting stopped. But
those are good guesses.
But like, it's going to follow the speed limits because self-driving in Teslas is already pretty good at that. The camera system is pretty good. I dog on Tesla a lot on these shows. It's impressive.
It is. It's
impressive.
Very impressive. I think that the no steering wheel car is actually going to be pretty popular, especially with our senior community.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Like 100%. But we'll see. I mean, that he said that's coming out when, like a year or so. So we'll monitor that situation. But Tesla doubling the output of vehicles in the U.S. within the next 2 years. Again, this is, and I know it's Elon, but we're seeing a lot of industries make these investments in America. They believe in America under Donald Trump. So when the media is going through their hysteria, just remember that your business leaders, your big companies are looking at America right now and going, no, I actually do want to invest in that. Oh, all this uncertainty. And they're saying, sign me up. I think that's a pretty good sign. It's 9:51, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends over at Cover Nash. Shane Ring is the guy you need to talk to if you need health insurance. Shane can help you save 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums, and it doesn't matter what your health status is. It doesn't matter what your income level is. What matters is what Shane can do for you, and what Shane's going to do for you is shop the entire market. He has over 20 years of experience doing this and 75 different companies to shop from. He'll look at the entire market for you and save you some money. Now, when you deal with the call center agents, they have limited overpriced coverage. Shane doesn't play those games. Again, Shane can easily be saving you 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums. And some of the plans that Shane can get you on will even pay you when you use them. It's not too good to be true. Call Shane today. He can break it all down for you. 615-465-0023. Find out how much you could be saving on quality health insurance. CoverNash.com or call Shane at 615-465-0023. It's time for you to have quality, affordable health insurance managed by you, not the government. CoverNash.com.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Canada hits back at U.S. tariffs, and a man who was deported twice charged now with a violent crime in Antioch. Those stories coming up at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom, 58 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I'm monitoring the text line and the YouTube chat. If you're over on the YouTube page, hit like, hit subscribe. Helps feed the kids. Appreciate it. The audience is completely split on if they would get in a driverless car or not. So we did a poll.
Yeah, just threw it up there. It's bouncing back and forth. Currently, it's on 60% on absolutely not.
Really?
Which I think is interesting.
That doesn't scare me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm still on the fence about it.
I think it's much more terrifying to drive in, I grew up driving in Boston. I would much rather have a driverless car in Tennessee than drive myself in Boston.
Oh, that's fair.
People are too angry.
Yeah. I just like the sense of control in there.
Also,
it's my time. I control the vehicle. I control all the situation there. I like driving.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see the absolute perks of having a driverless car.
Also, did you see on the YouTube chat, I made that comment about Elon being the most pale man in America?
Yeah.
And Cat Stone Bark said, You're pale yourself, LOL. I don't feel like I'm that pale.
You're not Elon pale.
I'm not Elon pale.
You're not Elon pale.
That'll be our next poll.
Is Chris as pale as Elon?
No, definitely not.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Okay. It's also been wintertime.
The poll quickly is turning into absolutely not. I will not get into a driverless car. Very quickly.
Isn't it kind of a socialist point of view, though, that everybody has to drive the same?
Maybe.
Right?
I reminded of those ads back in the day, the sketches. In communist Russia, car drives you. All right, so we got an update on Maine. Have you heard about this?
Oh, come on. I'm going to do it in the news. I can't believe you, Chris.
Why would you do that?
It's like we all
because
cover the
I do
news
the
here.
news.
Well, I'm very disappointed in you doing your job. I'll do it as well. All right, they cut Maine's federal funding. I didn't want to spoil it.
That's okay. I have a little audio. It'll be fun.
But I had to beat Joan to it. I let her have the last one. I took this one.
Yeah.
It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10 o'clock now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got to watch yourself on 24. The westbound lanes all jammed up around Sam Ridley Parkway, exit 66. That's that rolling roadblock. Looks like the two left lanes are blocked by it and stop-and-go traffic behind it. President Trump's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum took effect overnight. And a standoff with Ontario's premier is now over after Doug Ford threatened to start taxing electricity coming into the U.S., and President Trump upped the 25% to 50%. Ford backed off.
I think the Americans understand we are not their enemies. We love the Americans. It's one person that we need to deal with.
Yeah, that one person, of course, President Trump, he backed off too, but not totally. The 25% tariff is still on. Now, the European Union plans to impose a 50% tariff on Kentucky bourbon and Harley-Davidson motorcycles beginning next month, and Canada has just announced they'll impose similar tariffs. Well, the doors of the Education Department locked this morning.
Overnight, the Department of Education gutted. More than 1,300 workers told they're being laid off, now cutting the agency roughly in half. Education Secretary Linda McMahon saying those cuts are just the first step.
ABC News, Rachel Scott. President Trump has made good on those threats to cut off federal funding to Maine over its refusal to ban transgender athletes from girls' sports. Remember this moment from the White House last month?
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't.
And this morning, the University of Maine was cut off from all payments from the USDA while it, quote, evaluates if it should take any following actions. related to possible civil rights violations at the school. University of Maine said it received $30 million last year from the USDA. And a Mexican national is accused of shooting a man in front of that man's 7-year-old daughter in Antioch. And he's now been indicted. Police say 36-year-old Jose Guadalupe Vasquez Delgado shot a man during an afternoon of heavy drinking and then ran from the home, leaving behind his Mexican passport. Immigration officials say Vasquez Delgado had been deported from the U.S. to Mexico on at least 2 prior occasions. And want to get you all prepared for a short-term traffic headache. TDOT is announcing it'll close 3 westbound lanes on 24 between Haywood Lane and Bell Road starting tomorrow night at 8 p.m. They'll reopen those lanes around 5 a.m. on Friday morning. Crews will be working on overhead signs along that stretch. That is the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
.10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We love those guys. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit like and subscribe. We do appreciate it. The subscriptions are going up. Still no summer camp for the kids, so step up.
We're getting close.
We're getting close. I told him if we can get to 10,000 subscriptions on the YouTube channel, you might have a shot at summer camp.
I don't know. If we keep this rate up, I think we're pretty good.
I think we might.
Maybe.
Man, how's the poll looking on driverless cars? You got it up?
Yeah. Let's just say they're not voting with you.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah.
We're at, just shifted. We're at 74%. Absolutely not.
74% absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah.
All these people would change their tune once their license is taken away by their kids. I'm just letting you know.
Wait, I need a car.
No, but I'm watching the text line too. 6204. So this is in response to Elon saying that, what is it, a year or two, he's going to have a car coming out without a steering wheel.
Yeah, they're getting
without gas pedals. That stuff is old school. We don't need it.
Yeah.
But so, as I said, would you do it? I've driven in a driverless cab, one of the Waymo cabs in Phoenix.
I guess it wasn't driving. I guess it was ridden.
This is fair. Yeah,
I'm getting into semantics. I mean, you can't blame me.
I was carted around.
You were chauffeured.
So I don't know. It doesn't scare me one bit, and I'm fine with it. But I want to know what you think. So we had the poll up on YouTube. Would you get in a? Would you drive in a driverless car? What was it? How'd you phrase it?
Riding.
Would you ride in a driverless car?
Yeah.
And it's 74% no. But I think that there's some real world benefits to it. I got a text here from 6204, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Driverless cars helping disabled veterans who have amputations.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, you think about the freedom that could be restored to certain people in our population. It's not going to be a for everybody thing.
No.
But there would be some absolute benefits to that. I got a text here from Dakota on the text line. He wants us to change the poll.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He said the option should be driverless or female driver. See which way the audience votes.
I don't know if that'll go over as well.
Do you think that would change the numbers a bit? I don't know.
But yeah, the thing on driverless cars, I think it's in development and will be properly pushed out probably within the next year or two. I think it needs about 5 more before I'll feel comfortable personally.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
If people are open to it, go for it. But for me personally, I'm going to wait a couple of years.
I mean, you think about the veteran who has lost his legs and an arm in an
100%.
IED explosion. You could absolutely understand why people would want this.
Absolutely.
And I think that's good. That's good for America. You also have Tesla just being completely under fire right now by leftist deranged individuals. They're firebombing cars and they're protesting at the dealerships. And Donald Trump yesterday said we're not going to have that anymore. Actually, and he said that he's going to be labeling people attacking Tesla dealerships as domestic terrorists. This was outside the White House yesterday.
No, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Mr. President talks about some of the violence that's been going on around the country at dealerships. Some say they should be labeled domestic terrorists.
I will do that. I'll do it. I'm going to stop them. We catch anybody doing it because they're harming a great American company. You know, I've stuck up for the NFL. I've stuck up for a lot of American companies and other companies, but American companies. I did a very big favor for the NFL. I do favors for all. When you heard an American company, especially a company like this, supplies so many jobs that others are unable to do, when you do that, those people are going to go through a big problem when we catch them. And we have you got a lot of cameras up. We already know who some of them are. We're going to catch them. And they're bad guys. They're the same guys that screw around with our schools and universities.
Yep.
The same garbage. And no, we're going to catch them. And let me tell you, you do it to Tesla and you do it to any company, we're going to catch you and you're going to go through hell.
I mean, I don't know if you could be any more clear than that. Will you label them as domestic terrorists? Yes, I think we will. Terrorism defined as the use of violence to achieve a political goal by creating fear in a population. Is that not what's happening at Tesla dealerships? I think so. Is that not what's happening to Tesla cars on the road when people are carving swastikas into them? Yep, I think so. This is terrorism. They're aiming to achieve a political goal. They're aiming to destroy the brand of Tesla. Yeah. Treat them as terrorists. I'm here for it. That's Donald J. Trump yesterday outside the White House with the very pale Elon Musk saying, you will be treated as such. And again, this is how you look out for American businesses. You know, Tesla is an American company, a lot of American jobs, and you want to make the business community feel safe. This is a good thing. This is a very good thing. Trump also had a meeting yesterday at a round table with about 100 CEOs amid market uncertainty and tariffs. And so he's sitting, he's talking with these guys. But I think that a message that he delivered via Elon right there, we're going to treat you as a domestic terrorist. I think that would go a long way with these CEOs. You have a president who wants to protect American companies. Yesterday, he met with business leaders at a business roundtable in D.C., It was a business advocacy nonprofit. They're urging for the end to tariffs that Trump has imposed or announced, saying that they would create serious economic impact. Will they? We'll find out down the road. What Trump is trying to do is build a solid foundation here for the American economy. He spoke to about 100 CEOs, Apple, JP Morgan, Chase, Walmart. Reuters reported all this. Market value for many of these companies was dipped on Monday after the stock market dipped on Monday. But the round table, they said they were calling for Trump tax cuts to be permanent, reforms in manufacturing, infrastructure, energy sector. However, the group urged negotiators to redouble efforts to secure a path forward that swiftly removes the recently implemented tariffs. And I would just say they're reciprocal tariffs. If you want the tariffs removed, well, then the other countries need to lower theirs to zero. That would remove them very, very quickly. It would also help a lot of American companies do business in other countries. I understand where they're at, but what Trump is trying to do is make it better for everyone. Everyone. Yesterday, we also had the House passing the CR. They call it a huge step forward for the MAGA agenda. Whatever. Like, I felt like this was going to happen. Like, we got here. Yep, we're kicking the can down the road again with another CR. It kind of sucks. I do understand the aspect of Trump needs some time to do what he needs to do. I get that. I'm also old enough to remember that we didn't want these CRs anymore. We got rid of Kevin McCarthy because of this, and now here we are doing it again. One Republican voted against this, and it was Thomas Massie. I know. Everybody's so surprised that it was Thomas Massie. One Democrat actually voted for it. This is actually more surprising to me. We had Rep. Jared Golden, a Democrat out of the great state of Maine, voting for the CR. I thought that was pretty wild. And I wonder if he's reading the tea leaves in Maine based on the boys and women's sports. We're seeing a lot of Democrats trying to break from that radical 80-20 issue of allowing boys to play in women's sports and girls' sports, allow the boys in the girls' locker room. The overwhelming majority of the American public doesn't want anything to do with that. It's ridiculous. You're seeing some Democrats start to break that position and say, oh, well, communities can figure this out. It's a state's issue. And it's like, okay, now do abortion. They won't. But seeing this Democrat out of Maine, Jared Golden, break from the rest of the Democrats and vote for the CR, I thought that was pretty wild. Speaking of Maine, you heard Joan Jones in the newscast, but I will go on record. I reported it first. They're losing their federal funding. And you remember this exchange with Trump and the governor of Maine.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
I mean, he's just an absolute savage. My mother and father-in-law have been in town all week, and they hadn't seen that clip. I'm doing show prep last night. I'm like, you haven't seen this? Like, no, we haven't seen it. And they're not lefties or anything like that. They just, they don't pay much attention to the news, and that's okay. I get it. It's a weird thing to want to pay attention to all the time. Where if you're listening to this station, you're in the same boat as me. We're all a little bit weird to find the entertainment that we find in politics, but it's okay. I like being weird like this. But I played them that clip. They're like, oh my gosh, especially that end. Enjoy your life after politics. Is that Democrat voting for the CR breaking from the Democrats in Maine? Is it an act of self-preservation? It may be. And Maine has had their federal funding cut to some of their universities. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is pausing funding to the University of Maine system, a network of 8 public colleges in the state, according to UMS officials. The pause is in response to the state's recent refusal to comply with President Donald Trump's executive order to keep boys out of girls' sports. I have the article here from Fox News, and even Fox News, like, they bend the knee to the leftist verbiage. And I've been guilty of it at times as I'm reading articles on the air, and the verbiage is it's very important to get it correct because the left always wages the war on the words first. Fox says executive order to keep transgender athletes out of women's sports. And it's no. Keep boys out of women's sports. That's the correct way to phrase it. The pause in funding comes as the USDA reviews the potential Title IX and Title VI violations by the universities amid the state's refusal to comply with Trump's executive order to keep boys out of girls' sports. Trump reaffirmed his intent to punish states that continue allowing trans athletes to compete with the girls during his March 4th address to a joint session of Congress. A UMS spokesperson confirmed to Fox News Digital on Tuesday that it has been notified its funding will be paused. They say an email forwarded to the University of Maine that appears to have originated from the USDA's office of the chief financial officer directs the department's awarding agencies and staff offices to temporarily no longer issue any payments or authorize any other releases of funding to Columbia University or the University of Maine system, the spokesperson said. The message goes on to state, the pause is temporary in nature while the USDA evaluates if it should take any follow-on actions related to prospective Title VI or Title IX violations. Please take any necessary actions to effectuate this direction from leadership. This pause will remain in effect until further notice. F around, find out. This is what we're seeing on full display in the Trump administration. You want to F around, you're going to eventually find out. And I think that's been a recurring theme since Donald Trump took office on January 20th. The UMS spokesperson says the system told the USDA the universities were in compliance with relevant state and federal laws and that UMS universities are members of the NCAA, adding that the system is unaware of any Title VI violations. However, UMS says it will provide further clarity on the situation after further analysis is completed. In fiscal year 2024 alone, the USDA awarded almost $30 million in funding to UMS for research, $29.78 million to be exact. That is a lot of money they're going to be losing. Again, the stakes are high, my friends. If you want to F around, you're going to be forced to find out. It's 1021 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Waiting on Russia now. Will the Kremlin agree to a ceasefire? And a federal judge is right now considering whether to deport a graduate of Columbia University for ginning up anti-Israel protests. Those stories and more coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
And I won't spoil one of those stories.
Not
I promise.
a one.
I promise. It's 10:24 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got a poll going on our YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. Would you drive in a driverless car? Would you get a driverless car? No steering wheel, no pedals? What's the poll at?
We got 84 votes so far, and they're still 70% leaning towards no thank you.
No way.
Not yet.
I don't know. A lot of people wanted me to switch the poll to driverless or female. I said, I can't do that. I can't do that.
That's not right.
And then I had one guy text in. He said, okay, what about, this is terrible. He said, what about driverless car versus Asian female drivers? And then he said, my wife is Asian, by the way, so this is okay.
That makes it okay. Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't know. Is that a thing? I don't know. I never heard that.
Well, I can tell you that my daughter-in-law is Asian. And he might have something there.
Oh.
Now she picks on me for my driving, too. So
All right. It's fair game.
Yeah.
7464 on the text line said Hulu doesn't work correctly most of the time, but we're going to trust a rolling bonfire. All right. I'm picking up what you're putting down. But I see a lot of other people, guys said his dad lost eyesight 2 years ago to macular degeneration. Said he would absolutely love a driverless car.
There you go.
You know, this is I think that there's definitely going to be a portion of the population that would want that. If you want to vote in the poll, it's over on the YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe while you are there. One of the biggest deals that happened yesterday was that Ukraine agreed to a ceasefire. This is massive. I mean, everybody wanted to say that Donald Trump didn't know what he was doing and he was rude to Zelensky in the Oval Office, but you hear Marco Rubio and Mike Waltz yesterday. Apparently the strategy worked because all of a sudden Ukraine is ready to say, yeah, the bullets should stop flying.
Offer that the Ukrainians have accepted, which is to enter into a ceasefire and into immediate negotiations to end this conflict in a way that's enduring and sustainable and accounts for their interests, their security, their ability to prosper as a nation. I want to personally we both want to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Majesty, for hosting us, for making this possible. They've been instrumental in this process, and we're very grateful to them for hosting us here today. And hopefully we'll take this offer now to the Russians. And we hope that they'll say yes, to peace. The ball is now in their court. And but again, the president's objective here is, number one, above everything else, he wants the war to end. And I think today Ukraine has taken a concrete step in that regard. We hope the Russians will reciprocate.
I mean, it's a massive step. Again, the leftist mainstream media had nothing to go on yesterday except for Donald Trump is a car salesman because they couldn't roast him on Ukraine. They couldn't roast him on Canada and tariffs because by the end of the day, everything they had probably planned to roast him about had been resolved. Trump was asked about Ukraine agreeing to a ceasefire yesterday outside the White House while he was standing there with Elon Musk, checking out those beautiful Teslas. And he said, hopefully we'll be able to speak with President Putin and he'll agree to this. Because as of right now, it's just Ukraine that has agreed to the ceasefire.
But very importantly, and I said it, Ukraine, ceasefire, Ukraine. Ceasefire, just agreed to a little while ago. Now we have to go to Russia and hopefully President Putin will agree to that also, and we can get this show on the road. We can get this horrible war where 2,000-3,000 soldiers a week, every week, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 sometimes. I get the reports, and they're not American soldiers. They're Ukrainian and they're Russian. But people are being killed outside of that. People are being killed in the cities as things explode throughout the cities. And we want to get that war over with. So I think it's a big difference between the last visit you saw at the Oval Office and this. So that's a total ceasefire. Ukraine has agreed to it, and hopefully Russia will agree to it. We're going to meet with them later on today and tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to wipe out a deal. But I think the ceasefire is very important. If we can get Russia to do it, that'll be great. If we can't, we just keep going on and people are going to get killed. Lots of people.
You know, whenever they say Trump doesn't know what he's doing or Trump is losing his mind or Trump, he's wrong about this, it's like, just wait. Wait 24 hours. Wait a week. Wait a month and see if Trump was right. Many, many times he's proving to have an effective strategy. The president of peace, and he's striking again. This time, striking a ceasefire deal with Ukraine. They're bringing it to Russia. He said they were going to be speaking with him yesterday. They're going to be speaking with him today. There are talks that Trump is going to speak directly with Putin this week. We'll talk about that and more on the way. But just an absolute massive announcement yesterday. Ukraine agreed to the ceasefire. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's now 10:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Ukraine has agreed to a 30-day partial ceasefire. The ball in Russia's court now, but still no response.
I swear I didn't do that on purpose,
Joan. He doesn't
Joan.
want a ceasefire. We know he's gone on record as saying he only wants a deal which sees him keep the 20% of the Ukrainian territory he's currently occupying and more. In his eyes, there's still more of Ukraine that he wants.
ABC's James Longman there, although Chris Hand already did the story before I even got to it.
I'm sorry.
In other news, an ex-Tennessee senator who'd just been sentenced to 20 months in prison was pardoned yesterday by President Donald Trump. Not a lot of us heard about this. Brian Kelsey pleaded guilty in 2022 to an illegal campaign finance scheme, but immediately tried revoking that plea after being granted freedom yesterday. He blasted the case as a witch hunt and blamed former President Joe Biden's administration. Well, a federal judge right now reviewing the arrest and detention of a graduate from Columbia University. He had been arrested for playing a major role in anti-Israel protests there. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on the effort to deport Mahmoud Khalil.
This is not about free speech. This is about people that don't have a right to be in the United States to begin with. No one has a right to a student visa. No one has a right to a green card, by the way.
The State Department and the White House pointed to a provision that allows green card holders to be removed from the country if they present, quote, potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences for the United States. And Tiger Woods has been hit by another devastating injury. The Wall Street Journal reporting he had been training at home, recovering from another back surgery when he ruptured an Achilles tendon. He underwent a surgical fix, but has no guarantee that it will ever fully heal. The latest injury leaving the golf world questioning whether he'll ever be able to return to the links as a competitive player. That is the latest news. Weather's up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
36 minutes past the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. You can listen to the show on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or the 99.7 WTN app, or the FM dial if you want to kick it old school. You can watch the show Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and our personal favorite, YouTube, where we have the most red-pilled chat in YouTube history. They're always going off about something.
You know what I saw in the chat?
What did you say?
Just a little bit ago. Jason Adams said, Chris and Joan should swap jobs since Chris really wants to do her stories today.
This is true. This is true. I don't think I do as good of a job as Joan.
No, she's the best.
She's one of the best. Would you get in a driverless car? That's the poll on the YouTube channel today. We're at 70%. Absolutely not. 30%. Of course.
We're one vote away from 100 votes.
Oh, all right.
That's big.
Is it?
I mean, it could be bigger, obviously.
Those rookie numbers.
I like those triple digits.
If everybody that was watching was voting, we'd have 3-4
It'd be
times
done
the
already.
amount. Yeah. Step it up.
Hey, guys, you could engage on your TV. You know that, right?
Yeah, if you're watching on your TV, you can still hit like. You can still hit subscribe.
Yeah, it's kind of the coolest feature that they have. You can still interact.
You can even hit dislike, but we really only want you to hit the dislike button if you actually dislike the show. It helps us tickle the algo, though.
Don't lie.
We're fine. We're fans of tickling the algorithm. So
we like tickling algos.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do. So shout out to the YouTube chat. Shout out to the Super Text line, 615-737-9986, if you want to join the conversation. So there's a big story out of Doge yesterday. Out of the USAID, but I guess it's Doge adjacent, this story. Would you call it Doge adjacent?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the story. So you did Murphy's show yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're calling it a 5-alarm fire. USAID employees told to shred or burn classified documents.
What? I don't think that's right.
Why? Why would they do that? That seems a little sketchy, right?
Yeah, what you hiding?
Yeah. Now listen, there may be a reasonable explanation for this. There may be. Let's play devil's advocate here. When you close down a United States embassy, you're worried that it's going to be taken over by the enemy. Your Marines, they're given authority to burn and shred classified documents so they don't end up in the hands of the enemy. So I guess in this scenario, the Trump administration would be the enemy that you don't want the classified documents to get into the hands of.
Sounds like you're more of a liberal advocate.
I guess. I don't know.
Libs advocate.
It's a weird story. USAID instructed its Washington staff to shred and burn documents, according to an email obtained by NBC News. The directive comes as the Trump administration faces challenges over its attempt to strip and shut down the agency. The email came from Erica Carr. She is the USAID acting executive secretary, and it indicated that the destruction was scheduled for yesterday. The message thanked the workers for their assistance in clearing our classified safes and personnel documents. Shred as many documents first and reserve the burn bags for when the shredder becomes unavailable or needs a break. So you know that you're going to be shredding so many documents that the shredder is going to be overheated at a certain point.
Hey, at least they give their hardest working employees breaks. I'm just saying.
This is interesting. Again, classified materials are sometimes destroyed in emergencies. Former employees in a group representing foreign service workers say this directive, though, is not appropriate. Legal groups opposing the administration's efforts to shut down USAID filed an emergency motion on Tuesday to halt the destruction. So it's kind of weird. So people that are opposed to shutting down USAID want to halt the destruction of the documents, and conservatives also who are in favor of shutting down USAID want to halt the destruction of the documents. Everybody wants to halt the destruction. Am I reading that right?
Yep. No, that's what I'm getting here.
I don't understand. I don't get. Everybody's mad?
Yeah, something's a little sketch.
Everybody's mad. Defendants are, as this motion is being filed, destroying documents with potential pertinence to this litigation. A motion filed by that legal group trying to shut down, opposing the shutdown of USAID filed. They say a Trump official stated that 36 employees received the email and that materials are being destroyed were courtesy content, documents given to USAID by others. Mike Benz, cybersecurity expert, great guy to listen to. He's very smart, knows USAID in and out. Said right now as we speak, the USAID is shredding and burning the contents of the agency's classified safes. The key information needed to reconstruct the history of USAID's weaponization, both at home and abroad. This must be stopped. They said that on Tuesday, it was an all-day group effort to destroy documents, many of which contain sensitive information. Materials earmarked for destruction included contents of the agency's classified safes and personnel documents. Shred as many documents first and reserve the burn bags for when the shredders become overheated. Insanity. Again, I think the weirdest part about this story is that you have groups opposing USAID being shut down, trying to stop this, and you have conservatives who want USAID to be shut down, opposing this. So I wonder why are they doing this? I mean, hell, even MSNBC yesterday was like, this is pretty weird that this is going on. You had Nicole Wallace and an NBC reporter discussing all of this last night.
NBC News is reporting this. USAID staff is being told to shred and burn all their classified documents. Quote, the U.S. Agency for International Development is instructing its staff in Washington to shred and burn documents, according to an email obtained by NBC News. The document destruction was set to take place Tuesday, according to an email from Erica Carr, the agency's acting executive secretary. Quote, shred as many documents first and reserve the burn bags for when the shredder becomes unavailable or needs a break.
When it needs it's going to get overheated. We have so many documents to shred. It's inevitably going to melt down. I don't have any words. I don't understand. And it just seems like the left and the right are like, please don't shred these documents. Please don't burn them. Right?
Yeah, I'd love to know who made the first call on this.
Yeah, me and you both.
Carr wrote, I worked in government for almost a decade. I've never heard of so much shredding being required that you would know ahead of time that, quote, the shredder would become unavailable or need a break. What is that about?
Right. I actually this morning I got a message from somebody who left USAID earlier this year and passed along this email to me. And my response is naturally, is this standard operating procedure? And this individual said no, that they had never heard about burning or shredding of federal records at USAID. But then again, this individual told me they've never heard of the entire agency being gutted and their headquarters at the Ronald Reagan building being shut down. When are documents, burned by the State Department or USAID? Typically at an embassy when it is about to be overtaken, Marines have the authorization as a means of ensuring that classified records and personnel data do not get in the hands of individuals who are seen as threats. They do go and burn documents, but that's not what this situation is here.
I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe that's how they view this. So the burning of documents by the State Department, the shredding of documents is done when an embassy is about to be overtaken by enemies and they don't want the information to get in the hands of people who they see as threats. And I would just wonder, are you viewing the Trump administration as enemies? Are you viewing those documents getting into their hands as a threat? I think it's worth asking the question, right? Now, the acting director who ordered the mass email, the mass document shredding and destruction, well, that is this is Erica Carr, okay? She worked for the Biden administration. She worked for the Obama administration. She was at the Obama Office of Personnel Management, then the Obama USAID, then was personally named USAID Executive Secretary by Joe Biden his first week in office. So if you look at who's ordering these documents being shredded, I wouldn't necessarily consider her a friend to the Trump administration. Maybe she views the Trump administration as a threat. It's definitely a wild story. Insanity. Is this a big deal? Does this mean nothing? They say a lot of these documents are already backed up online. They're in the cloud, as Kamala Harris would say. It's floating above us. They're in the cloud. So, I don't know. Just seems a little sketchy, right? Like it doesn't necessarily pass the sniff test. Does it pass the sniff test for you? 615-737-9986. Steve in the borough wants to talk about USAID. What's up, Steve?
Hey, good morning. So I did a deep dive on this morning. I'm going to tell you where I'm at with it. First of all, I think it's important to provide your listeners with some context that USAID used to be more or less standalone, and now it's been folded into the State Department, which I'm in favor of, by the way.
Yep, 83% of the 83% of their contracts have been canceled by Marco Rubio. A lot of the staff laid off. You're absolutely right.
And it's under his direct supervision now, Marco Rubio's direct supervision. So I think it's important to provide that context, and here's why. I couldn't find anything as of this morning. It sounds like you have that this woman was actually appointed by the Biden administration. But let's be real. If there was any thought by Rubio and the State Department that she was some sort of rogue holdover, I mean, she would have gotten the boot a long time ago. And the fact that she's acting means that somebody in the Trump administration, when I say acting, the acting executive secretary, somebody in the Trump administration vetted her and said, "Okay, we're good to keep her."
Well, she was named USAID executive secretary by Joe Biden in his first week in office, so she's been there for a while. I hear you on, they would have vetted her, they would have looked at her, but it wouldn't be a surprise if one person slipped through the cracks. You know what I mean?
It's possible, but here's the other thing. So here's the other thing I think is going on, and I apologize, I'm driving right now, so I can't sit here and tell you, where I read this at. I really did the deep dive on these stories this morning, and the White House is downplaying it, and they're saying, "Oh, this is just because the Department of Homeland Security is about to take over these offices. Like USAID is getting booted out, and the Department of Homeland Security is moving in. So they're downplaying and they're saying, "Oh, this is just normal housekeeping procedure," that sort of thing. And so here's my theory. Here's my summary of what I was trying to get at with all this. I think Trump supporters are watching this and seeing the early reports that she's a Biden appointee, which sounds like she actually was, and saying, "Oh, we got a rogue holdover trying to, go against Trump and all this other stuff." And then, so that's your conservatives, right? And then your Democrats that support USAID, they're simultaneously like, "Wait a minute, why are they burning all this stuff?" Because I think there's an understanding now that, at least from their perspective, that, hey, this is all run by Rubio and the State Department now. So I think that's where you're getting this weird, like, why is everybody against it, but yet it seemingly was still being done. That's my theory on it.
Hey, and I like the theory. I appreciate the call, Steve. Thanks so much. Yeah, no, it is weird when you see Democrats and Republicans all saying, we don't want this happening. I usually tell my kids if the Democrats and Republicans agree on something, you should run as fast as you can. But it's an interesting situation they have over at USAID. The burning and shredding of all the documents. The shredders are going to be they're going to be overheating. So reserve the burn bag for when they need a break. But they do say these are very old documents. They're in complete compliance with Federal Records Act of 1950. An official continued to say everyone involved in this process had a secret clearance or higher and was approved by the Bureau of the documents that they were handling. A majority of the content is courtesy content. Most original copies are still in classified computer systems. Mike Benz, again, this is a guy who's been tracking USAID for a long time, exposing them every chance he gets. He called this news a 5-alarm fire. He said, right now, as we speak today, USAID is shredding and burning the contents of the agency's classified safes, the key information needed to reconstruct the history of the USAID's weaponization, both at home and abroad. This must be stopped. The truth probably lays somewhere in the middle. It's probably not as extreme as some conservatives are making it. It's probably not as extreme as some leftists are making it. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. I just want to get to the truth. And I think as the next couple of days go on, this will play out. We'll figure out if this was a big deal or a nothing burger, but it will take time to tell. We'll keep you updated on that here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN as details become available. It is 10:51 on Super Talk.
Good old I-24 westbound. Let's start in Smyrna, where we have the rolling roadblock. The left 2 lanes are blocked for pothole repair. That's at Sam Ridley Parkway. And then in Antioch, you have a crash. It's on the right shoulder, but get over for the first responders there. That's 24 westbound before Harding Place. Still waiting on Russia. Details coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Russia, Russia, Russia. Am I right?
Russia, Russia, Russia.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. Matt Murphy is down at the Tennessee State Capitol. What up, Murph?
What's going on, Chris Hand? Man, we're having a great time. Got a lot of energy going on down here at the State Capitol at the Cordell Hall building, and I'm excited about it, brother. I mean, I just got a chance to meet a fellow by the name of JD. His name's John. Everybody calls him JD. Last year at the Day on the Hill for Men of Valor, JD had been out of jail for 2 days, and they brought him down as someone who was fresh out of jail and someone who was entering the Men of Valor program. Today, I'm proud to say that he has graduated the Men of Valor program, and we just met with Representative Jeremy Faison. He was telling his story. He's got an industry, he's got a career, he's in cabinet work now, he's been working for the better part of a year, he's been living on campus, and he's just a real-life example of what we're talking about to the legislators down here, about how to reclaim men to God and to their own purpose here on earth and for their eternal salvation, Chris. And that's
Amen.
Really what it's all about. I mean, that's we're just bringing these guys around and showing them off to the legislature and making sure that the taxpayers know that for every dollar that they spend, they're getting their money back in spades with Men of Valor.
Well, and also that there's another way. Like it doesn't have to be the way that it's always been. Men of Valor has proven that every day that you can actually do this a lot better and a lot more cost effective, as you put it.
You know, my grandpa always had a saying is that, you know, if you have the want to, he'll bring the how to. And that's what Men of Valor does, right? All you have to bring, if you're a man in crisis in the prison system, you reach out to Men of Valor within that system because they go in there. They do Bible study. They will talk with you. They will counsel you. They have meetings. They have group, you know, and that's their relationship with the state. If you bring the want to, they'll show you the way to a better productive life and to eternal salvation, truly, which is what we're talking about today. So I'll talk to you next hour, Chris. But we're meeting with the representatives and taking guys around and having a good time at Cordell Hall.
I love that. But what's a call to action for the audience? You know, a lot of people like Men of Valor. They know Men of Valor. How can they support Men of Valor?
MOVministry.com is the best way to reach out to Men of Valor. That's MOVministry.com to see some of the wonderful things they're doing. And I've got a very special treat for our listeners on Super Talk. You're going to have an ability to go to the breakfast that happens every year at the Music City Center, and I'll have more on that this afternoon on my show. But MOVministry.com is the way to go to give and to find out more about the organization.
Yeah, and it's not just money. I mean, if you can volunteer your time, they'll take that too.
Right.
Yeah, hey,
right.
I love what you're doing out there, Murph. We'll check in with you in a little bit. Murphy's down at the state capitol with his friends at Men of Valor, doing the Lord's work. Shout out to Murphy and the whole squad down there. We'll check in with him in a little bit, see what's going on. We'll also be talking about the Trump economy. You know, I don't know if you know this, but gas is coming down, milk's coming down, eggs. I haven't heard much about eggs from the left lately. Price is coming down. What are they going to do when they can't talk about the cost of eggs anymore?
Wait till Easter.
Wait till
It'll
Easter.
Find a reason to kill more chickens.
Honestly, we're going to kill them chickens. that'll stick it to Trump. We'll talk about the Trump economy when we get back. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Again, drivers, got some issues 24 westbound. We're going to start in Smyrna where rolling roadblocks have the left 2 lanes blocked for pothole repair. That's just past Sam Ridley Parkway. And then in Antioch, we had a crash blocking the right shoulder 24 westbound right there at Harding Place. And you may see some emergency crews around Nissan Stadium today. Officials say don't worry. That's just a drill to test security measures to make sure everyone's safe during games and concerts. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. It is absolutely gorgeous outside today. We're still waiting on Russia to respond to the 30-day ceasefire proposal the U.S. and Ukraine are offering. Here's James Longman.
Until now, Vladimir Putin says he doesn't want a ceasefire. We know he's gone on record as saying he only wants a deal which sees him keep the 20% of the Ukrainian territory he's currently occupying and more. In his eyes, there's still more of Ukraine that he wants.
While coming back from Saudi Arabia, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says President Trump's 25% tariff on Canada's steel and aluminum will ultimately make U.S.-based manufacturing stronger.
If you don't have steel and aluminum, you can't build warships. You can't build airplanes. You're not an industrial economy. There are things we have to be able to protect, and there's a lot of unfair trade practices.
Meanwhile, the European Union responding to tariffs Trump placed on them, saying member states are going to place their own tariffs on U.S. goods worth about $28 billion. Latest inflation report out today, and it slightly exceeded expectations. According to the Consumer Price Index, inflation up 2.8% from last year, with prices on grocery items holding steady. Other areas kept seeing price increases, including housing. We get more from Rebecca Jarvis, who says interest rates are likely to stay where they are for now.
The report, though, makes a Fed rate cut much less likely when they meet next week because it puts inflation, which had been going up so rapidly, in a place that's more manageable. And the Federal Reserve in this environment is much less likely to cut, meaning those credit card and mortgages stay about where they are.
Tennessee General Assembly considering two bills to eliminate the sales tax on groceries. The Democrat version of the bill would have corporations paying for the tax cut, but the Republican version does not. Both bills expected to be heard in a Senate subcommittee next week. And a Mexican national accused of shooting a man in front of that man's 7-year-old daughter in Antioch has now been indicted. Police say 36-year-old Jose Guadalupe Vasquez Delgado shot the man during an afternoon of heavy drinking, then ran from the home, leaving behind his Mexican passport. Immigration officials say Vasquez Delgado had been deported from the U.S. to Mexico on at least 2 prior occasions. If convicted, he faces up to 17 years in prison. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Cost of living. So we just
6 minutes past the hour, 11 o'clock, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
None of us do. Betterwater.com.
Absolutely.
You can watch the show. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and our personal favorite, YouTube. Shout out to the most red-pilled chat in YouTube. Obviously, we got the best chat. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. It helps feed the kids, and I also personally want to beat the other hosts. So hit like, hit subscribe. I do appreciate it.
I win either way.
Yeah, Ken's always the big winner. He's always the big winner. Hey, would you hop in a driverless car, Ken? We have a poll going on our YouTube channel. Elon said that he's going to have a car coming out with no pedals, no steering wheel within the next year or two. Would you drive that?
If it's backing in and out of a short driveway, yes.
That's where you draw the line.
I'm a fraidy cat when it comes to that, brother.
I would want the steering wheel, but I would do the self-driving.
Yeah, okay. That's different. Yeah, and if you can disengage or engage rapidly, then yes.
Yeah, that's where we're at
I would try
currently with Tesla. Yeah. Tesla can currently do that right now. That's why they're looking to get rid of the steering wheel, because currently you can just I think you double tap one of the triggers on the side of the wheel and it goes into self-drive.
Yeah, so
that's different.
Yeah.
The poll right now is 72% of our YouTube watchers would not get in a driverless car.
Yeah.
I've been in one. I've been in those Waymo cabs in Phoenix.
What was it like?
It's a little spooky.
How far did you go?
I went I was in there for maybe 15 minutes.
So did you get on did you get on the freeway? And...
No. It was all back roads.
Okay.
But it was fun. I wouldn't have got I was leaving the Turning Point building and I was going back to the Airbnb. The wife and the kids were there.
Yeah.
And I probably wouldn't have gotten it if I had the kids with me.
Yeah.
But
right.
since it was just me, I'm more prone to take risks.
Yeah.
And I jumped in. It was like 10 minutes quicker than a regular Uber. It would be there 10 minutes quicker, and it was like $10 less. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's try this out. And now I'm in. Like I'm all in. I would love to get a driverless car.
Interesting.
I'd want the steering wheel. I'd want the pedals. A lot of people on the text line are saying, "What happens when it snows and all those cameras are covered up?"
Yeah,
I get that.
That would be a thing.
But the poll is active. If you want to vote in it, would you drive in a driverless car?
Sorry,
it's on our YouTube page.
It made me think of
how much wood would a woodchuck chuck?
No.
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
How far would you drive in a driverless car if a driverless car had no driver? You know? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, 72% say absolutely not. I look at the possibilities for a driverless car, no steering wheel, no pedals, and I think of our elderly population, giving them that freedom back, blind population, veterans who have had to deal with amputations. I think that there's...
now you're talking. Now you're talking.
There's so... Well, and you weren't here. I talked about my mother-in-law. She's been in town for a week. My mother and father-in-law, love those guys.
Mm-hmm.
But she got pulled over on the highway once for going too slow.
That does happen, yeah.
So... Like I said, listen, let's get you a driverless car. So, oh no, I'd be too freaked out. Would you be more freaked out than driving a car? Because that's where we're at currently. I think you could have some freedom. I think a lot of people would actually benefit from that.
Yeah. Yeah, they would actually. I mean, that could go a long way to help folks, especially the older population. Get to places where they need to be, given, like you said, more autonomy.
Yeah. I had one guy on the text line say this would fix parking problems. Imagine if your car could drop you off at Nissan Stadium and then go home.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Hey, circle around the block. I don't want to pay for parking downtown.
That would be nice.
Wouldn't that be money?
As long as there's not a traffic jam on the way to pick you up.
Yep. But, this conversation came because the left has just been smashing Elon Musk left and right.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not a lot for the leftist media to attack. So they attacked Donald Trump for being a car salesman yesterday, completely ignoring the fact that Joe Biden had Jeep at his at the White House while he was there. Obama's done stuff like this. I mean, Joe Biden had all those rallies with the car makers and that one intern with all the key fobs to make it look like everybody was in the cars, honking the horn and flashing the lights. But so that's what we were talking about. But there's nothing that the leftists can really attack Trump for today. Nothing. I mean, you had Doug Ford bending the knee on Canada. I know that more tariffs have been announced, reciprocal tariffs, but Doug Ford bent the knee when it comes to Canada. You have the Ukraine agreeing to a ceasefire deal. The leftists, they're really just reaching. What can we bash Trump with? And there's not a lot. And then the inflation report came out, and it's just another thing that the left can't bash Trump about.
Good news on the economy, and really the number one issue for many Americans, the cost of living. So we just learned that consumer prices in February increased by 2.8% year over year, 0.2% month over month. Both of these figures were a step in the right direction, and both were better than expected. So this is definitely very encouraging to see, because it's going to, I think, relieve some fears that inflation was perhaps re-accelerating, because this actually breaks a streak of 4 straight months where I think you could see it on the chart all the way to the right, where the inflation rate was going in the wrong direction, right? It was going higher and higher. Finally, we're seeing it dip.
Finally, we're seeing it dip. I know it only took a month under the Trump administration. Oh, Trump's economy. It's actually working for the people. Isn't that amazing? Weird. Again, you won't hear the leftist yelling and screaming about the Trump economy today. And Trump talked about this yesterday while he's on the White House lawn with Elon Musk. All the prices that are coming down. I mean, we have. I know you've seen gas prices coming down. I was in Murfreesboro, near the Walmart off Rutherford. It was like $2.38, I think I saw the other day for gas.
Excelente.
$2.38. That's going to ripple through the economy faster than anything else.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. I saw.
It's massive.
Like $2.42 in Mount Juliet. Yeah. It was pretty good.
But Trump was talking about this yesterday. The prices are coming down.
But we didn't have these problems. I had no inflation. I had a great economy. He gave you high prices. You couldn't buy bacon. You couldn't buy anything. And also, I inherited a situation with eggs. The price of eggs was through the roof. Well, now the price of eggs has come down a lot. Interest rates have come down. Gasoline prices have come down. It's all coming down. It's all a beautiful thing. I can do it the right way or the wrong way. We're doing it the right way. And I have tremendous confidence in this country and the people of this country. Tremendous confidence. Much more so than if I sat back for 4 years and had a good time in the Oval Office.
I don't know how you don't have confidence in this economy. Oh, it's so uncertain. Are we going to have tariffs? Or are we not going to have tariffs? The price of gas is down. Price of food is down. American gas prices in March fell to the lowest price since 2021, according to Gas Buddy. Is that good or bad for the economy? I don't know. I want to say it's good. Dare I say?
That sounds right.
It sounds right.
Sounds right.
Sounds right. Could be wrong. I don't hear any screaming. I don't hear any unhinged leftists yelling. Does that mean we're doing something right? I tend to think that the screaming and the yelling means we're doing something right. So now with the silence, I'm a little bit unsure.
Allegedly.
I know. Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary. I don't know about you. I love Howard Lutnick. He just seems like the type of guy that is going to tell you like it is no matter what. But he was talking about Donald Trump and what we have in the Trump economy. And essentially, he calls Trump the best deal maker to ever sit in the chair. And he talks about how he's using these tariffs to negotiate and how lucky we are to have this.
The markets are going to learn. Let the deal maker make his deals.
Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick brokered today's truce with the Ontario Premier.
What is really being accomplished with all of these 1 or 2 day tariffs that end up getting yanked?
Well, when you're negotiating with someone and they're not paying attention and they're disagreeing, the president, who's the best deal maker ever to sit in that chair, is going to say, here's my response. And then all of a sudden, shockingly, they respond.
He's using the tariffs as a negotiating tactic. So surprising. You know, I heard somebody say, I think it was Peter Navarro, He said, the markets, they're so uncertain. Everybody's so nervous. All this uncertainty. And he's like, the uncertainty is the fact that they just don't have that faith in Trump that they need to have. That's where the uncertainty is coming from. And if you just stay patient, you wait, you'll see this all playing out exactly according to plan. Peter Navarro also said that Trump is taking a 3D attack on inflation. And clearly it's working, as you heard CNN bragging about the inflation numbers moments ago. But he says 3D attack on inflation. It's drill, baby, drill. It's Doge, and it's deregulation.
We have what I call the 3D, the three-dimensional attack on inflation, which is consistent with the first term. In this case, it's drill, baby, drill. The difference between $80 barrel oil and $50 barrel oil is at least 1 point alone on the CPI. That alone is not just oil that we use in heating and putting in our cars. It spreads throughout the production aspects of the economy. So we're doing drill, baby, drill. We've got the deregulation now, which brings things down, and the Doge to the extent that it gets rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. So we're going to see a tremendous deflationary positive effect that won't take us down.
Deflationary positive effect. And again, we're seeing it already in the gas prices. You love to see it. And I love that the leftists have nothing to complain about. Oh, but the tariffs. It's well, it seems like the tariff strategy is working. Am I wrong in saying that? It seems like the tariff strategy is working. Our friend, the distinguished gentleman from Lebanon, Tennessee, Calvin, is on the line. He wants to talk about tariffs. What's up, Calvin?
Hey, Chris, I hope this don't sound crazy, but it probably will, but just hear me out just a minute. How's this for tariffs working? Paying off national debt. What restaurant chain's going to come out with the new tariff burger? And every time you buy a burger, they send a portion of it to pay the national debt. Now, it can be a 1-patty tariff burger. It can be a 2-patty. It can be a 3-patty. You can get you some Bondi Dippin' Dots with that. Every time you add to it, you see a little bit more goes to the national debt, and if your kids want a Happy Meal, how about a Trump meal? It's got a little garbage truck in there.
I love it.
It's got a little garbage truck in there that says fight, fight, fight on one side and Trump on the other.
Based.
I just think we ought to just set the left on fire, and these companies come out with little collector items for this great time in our life. And we can just demolish the IRS if we can get something like this going. How fun would it be to go out and eat today and say, yeah, give me the Trump cabinet menu?
I love it. I don't know which burger joint would do it. Steak and Shake has been pretty base lately. They're going full beef tallow on the fries. I think that they might be open to it. In-N-Out Burger, they're overwhelmingly based. They're coming to Middle Tennessee. They got Bible verses on their cups. They might do something like that.
Christian-owned company.
But when it comes to pizza, you can order the large Doge with some Trump crazy bread and some Vance sauce.
I love it. I love that idea.
It's endless possibilities, Chris, and it all adds to the national debt. It's fun to go out to eat.
And from a marketing standpoint, how great would that be?
It's so good.
Okay, you put it together.
I love it. I love it, Calvin. Man, you got good ideas, brother. I appreciate the call.
All right.
I mean, dude, what you think about the marketing strategy? If In-N-Out said, hey, a quarter on every burger sold is going to go to pay the national debt.
I mean, yeah, with the price of fast food and all that stuff going up right now, I was like, what's another quarter? Easy.
Oh, my gosh. I would shop there.
Yeah, of course.
I love that idea.
Of course.
Calvin, he's hilarious.
I love every time he calls in.
He's the best. He sounds so much like John Kennedy.
Yes, yeah.
That's why I always refer to him as the distinguished gentleman from Lebanon, Tennessee.
That makes sense. Yeah. I love it.
Hey, the left, they're having a tough time rallying against Donald Trump and his economy. And it's hard to argue with Trump. He was saying yesterday at this business CEO roundtable, talking about all of the billions and billions of dollars being invested. He said the biggest wins are going to be when companies move to America and bring jobs to America.
A lot of investment coming into our country, much more than I've ever seen. Apple is investing $500 billion.
Yep.
IBM was with us yesterday, and they're investing a lot. Just companies all over. I could name them. You've read most of them, many of them. But hundreds of billions of dollars is being invested. That wouldn't have happened if I didn't win the election, number one. And I think, number two, the tariffs are having a tremendously positive impact. They will have, and they are having. We have car companies that are not building in Mexico now. They're building in the United States. Some of them, the plants were already started and they stopped construction. And now they're going to build in the United States. It was very unfair. They'd build in Mexico and sell them across the border with no tax, no nothing. They'd take away our jobs. They'd close up places in Michigan and all over the country. And they'd build them in Mexico. In many cases, they were owned by China. Built in Mexico, owned by China. And that's all stopped now. They're all coming here.
Now, the biggest thing about the investments that we're seeing is that we're not seeing the biggest things from the investments yet, right? Like the investments are announced, but the jobs haven't landed yet. They will. We're going to see this ripple effect in months, right? The investments that are coming in. And it's just going to add to this foundation that Trump has been building for this economy. And the left, well, they'll be and they'll moan. And that's okay. That's okay. They're wrong when it comes to Trump and what he's doing with tariffs in the economy. So much so that they've been awfully silent the past couple of days. I'm here for it. It's 11:22. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Twenty-two minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, here for my friends at the Glock store. You know the guys at the Glock store. I mean, they are the absolute best. They have everything when it comes to Glocks. And I mean everything. There's a reason why Glocks are the most popular handgun in America. And if you switch the camera, if you're watching on YouTube, you see that wonderful website that they have over at glockstore.com. It's beautiful. It's perfect. We love it. Now, we're really lucky that we have the showroom here in Nashville, because if you get one of those performance parts, the competition triggers, the extended controls, the magwells, the red dot optics, they'll install them for you for free while you wait. Yes, you heard that right. If you go to the Glock store in Nashville, there's always a gunsmith on duty, and they'll install all those performance parts for you for free while you wait. Whatever you need, they'll do it for you, and it's a fantastic, fantastic deal. A lot of reasons to like the Glock store. Free parts installation, just one of them. If you're watching online, you can't make it to the showroom in Nashville, you'll see that beautiful Glock store website where you can always shop, glockstore.com. But if you're in Nashville, trust me, this place is minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. When you get there, tell the folks at the Glock store Chris Hand told them to send you. glockstore.com.
All right, TDOT is still showing rolling roadblocks blocking the left 2 lanes of 24 westbound past Sam Ridley Parkway for pothole repair. Over here on the East Loop downtown, we got an injury crash there at Shelby Avenue. That's going to be at Interstate Drive. And then in Antioch, looks like a crash. TDOT still showing 24 westbound before Harding Place on the right shoulder. China's accusing the U.S. of not following the rules. We'll tell you about that at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, are we not following the rules enough for China? Is it going to hurt our social credit score? China?
China?
China.
They're going to say they're going to say bad things about us.
Who is that that's saying bad things about us?
China?
Oh. We better change our ways. We better change our ways. We wouldn't want
China
to be mad at us, would we?
That's my favorite one.
That one's my favorite too. I feel like we got to get a few more into the rotator.
I'm here for it.
Some 2025 editions. I mean, the ones we have are really good.
The classics, but we're still dealing with
China.
We play the hits. We play the hits, but Donald Trump in the Oval Office moments ago. Is he with the Irish Prime Minister? Is that who it is?
I think so.
I don't know.
I think the Prime Minister of Ireland is stopping by today. I don't know his name, but if you've been paying attention to news in Ireland, it wouldn't shock me if it was Prime Minister Mohammed something. Just saying. But he was talking about oil prices coming down. Donald Trump was in the Oval Office moments ago. This is Donald Trump.
I'm very happy with his oil is down to $65 a barrel. And that's faster than I would have anticipated. We put on the gas, we stepped in the gas in order to get oil. And with what's happening. So we're getting that down. And when energy comes down, prices are going to be coming down with it. So in a very short period of time, we've done a very good job.
I agree. Listen, that's going to ripple through the economy. Now, you'll remember, it was, what was it, January 21st, I believe it was, when the Democrats started saying, oh, the prices haven't come down yet. Yet here we are. Gas is steadily falling. Oil, $65 a barrel. That's clutch. And as these prices come down for energy, you will see it ripple through the economy. It's going to lower prices on everything. He's talking to the Irish Prime Minister today. I believe that's correct. I'm like 99.9% sure, but then I start to doubt myself when I get overconfident. But I have a story. There's a celebrity who has decided to self-deport to Ireland. I'll tell you about it when we get back. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. I can tell you it's absolutely gorgeous outside. I'm going to have to talk to Brother Chris and Brother Mason about moving this thing outside.
Let's go.
I'm telling you.
I'm here for it.
Me too, man. It is beautiful. Didn't even mind driving in on 24. It was so nice.
Don't get too comfortable, though. I've heard that this is just another fake spring.
Right. Well, the Tennessean says a full federal investigation into sex abuse in the Southern Baptist Convention is over with no additional criminal charges. Only one person criminally charged, a former SBC pastor seminary professor Matt Queen, who pleaded guilty to lying to the feds, though no prosecutions for potential racketeering or trafficking charges. The closing of the case applies to the convention and all major SBC-affiliated agencies. Another blow to the Democrats' efforts to reclaim the U.S. Senate majority. New Hampshire's Jeannie Shaheen is not seeking re-election.
There are urgent challenges ahead, both here at home and around the world. And while I'm not seeking re-election, believe me, I am not retiring.
China is accusing the U.S. of not following the rules when it comes to tariffs. Britt Clinett is in Beijing gauging reaction to President Trump's tariffs.
We heard from China reiterating that the U.S. actions that have been taken, it says, violate the rules of the World Trade Organization. The Chinese Foreign Ministry made these comments in its regular briefing to the media today. As we've been here, been talking to people here in Beijing, and many people say that they're not worried about the impact impacts of the tariffs on their day-to-day lives. What they are concerned about is an escalating trade war between the U.S. and China, turning into a conflict.
Now, China implemented an additional 15% tax on American farm products in response to President Trump's decision to double tariffs on Chinese imports. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey guys, it's Matt Murphy, and I'm sitting outside of the Speaker of the House's office right now on behalf of Men of Valor. So wonderful to get an opportunity to talk to somebody like Cameron Sexton about this wonderful organization that is Men of Valor. What we're asking you to do is simple. Just go to movministry.com. That's movministry.com as we celebrate this day on the Hill. What does that mean? Well, there's a relationship between the state of Tennessee and Men of Valor. Men of Valor simply accomplishes certain things that the state can't do, and that is bring men to lives of God, to give them an opportunity to make better lives for themselves. And I'm being quiet right now because I'm in the conference room right outside of the Speaker's office, but we're about to walk in and show the Speaker the results of Men of Valor. That means men who have graduated from the program, who have become productive members of society, saving the state of Tennessee money in the long run. Every dollar you spend, you get $3, $4 in return. The return on investment is incredible. So go to movministry.com. That's movministry.com, or call your senator or legislator and tell them to support this wonderful organization that is Men of Valor.
Mr. Trump, one of the things people love about you is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't.
37 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. That's a little trip down memory lane. You remember that? Only Rosie O'Donnell. That's it. It's only Rosie that he calls those terrible names. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. All right, so why did we play the Rosie O'Donnell clip coming back into the break? Well, this is going to shock you. I hope you're sitting down.
Whoa.
Rosie O'Donnell is self-deporting.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Where's she going?
Well, I think that's what they're discussing today in the Oval Office. She's going to Ireland.
Interesting.
I think they're negotiating tariffs on whether or not to accept Rosie.
I was getting ready to say maybe the leaders of Ireland are setting up a meeting with Trump to ask him, you got to stop this.
Yeah, the Irish Prime Minister, he is in the Oval Office today, and I am expecting a blow-up that will dwarf the Zelensky blow-up last week, or 2 weeks ago. This is the message that Rosie O'Donnell posted on X.
Well, hey, everybody, it's me, Rosie O'Donnell, star of the Flintstones.
Oh, jeez. It's already off to a terrible start. She was not the star of the Flintstones.
Yeah, starting off lying is not a great place to be.
It's not a good way to handle your business.
It's Tuesday all day, as my Nana would say. And I'm here in Ireland. And it's beautiful and warm. Not physically, it's actually quite cold.
Oh, it's, again, with the lies.
More lies? Okay.
Yeah, more lies. Yeah. Interesting.
Moved here on January 15th. And it's been pretty wonderful, I have to say.
Allegedly.
The people are so loving and so kind, so welcoming.
Are they? Well,
they don't know you yet.
Have you've seen the videos in Ireland, right, where they'll drop off about 300 migrants in a small town and create a tent city for them? I think that would be preferable over Rosie O'Donnell. just being perfectly honest.
And I'm very grateful. I'm in the process of getting my Irish citizenship, as I have Irish grandparents, and that's what's going on, and that's where I've been and what I've been doing.
So I guess lists of celebrities that have self-deported because of Trump is now at a resounding 1.
Got to start somewhere.
We got it. Yeah. Listen. Let's.
That's not.
The first step is the hardest, right?
Always.
So, as of right now, the Irish Prime Minister is sitting in the Oval Office with Donald Trump, and of course, the topic of Rosie O'Donnell came up.
Oh no!
Of course it did. Will you be charging Ireland tariffs for taking in this excess waste? We don't know. We're negotiating it. This is what it sounded like in the Oval Office.
Ireland is known for very happy, fun-loving people, great attitude, many in this room right now that I've met. Why in the world would you let Rosie O'Donnell move to Ireland? I think she's going to lower your happiness level.
It's true. Thank you. I like that question.
Trump said, it's true. It's true. She's going to lower your happiness level. Happiness plummeting in Ireland right now.
The spike of joy on Trump's face as he asked that question.
He said, that's true. That's an excellent question.
The smile just grew, and I was like, that's good. That's good.
He said, that's true. That's an excellent question.
I think she's going to lower your happiness level.
It's true. Thank you. I like that question.
Do you know you have Rosie O'Donnell?
Do you know who she is?
Yeah. I'm joking.
You better off not knowing.
What do you think hurts Rosie O'Donnell more? The fact that nobody in Ireland knows who she is, or that nobody in America wants her?
Probably nobody knows who she is because she thinks she's the star.
She is.
I'm the star of the Flintstones, by the way.
I'm the star of the Flintstones. What year did that movie come out? Like 93, right?
Yeah.
Didn't it come out in like 1990? I'm the star of a movie from 3+ decades ago. You may remember me.
Remember those old Hanna-Barbera cartoons? Yeah, they made a live-action movie of it. I happened to be there.
How embarrassing. Nobody knows who you are. The Ireland Prime Minister doesn't have any idea who you are. Ouch. Ouch. And America looks left, they look right, and they say nothing of value is lost.
Nah.
Nothing of value was lost. Donald Trump talking about the Democrats while he was in the Oval Office with the Irish Prime Minister, laying out what we all know. The Democrats just have no clue. They're not living in the real world.
The Democrats have no clue. You saw that the other night during the speech. 2 young women were slaughtered by illegal aliens. 1 young man has very serious cancer and many other problems. When you look at the people up there, they all had difficulty, very serious difficulty. But when we're talking about 2 young girls, beautiful young girls, Lake and Riley, you know the whole story. That evening was a disaster for the Democrats, in my opinion. And I would mention, and I'd see 2 mothers that were inconsolable as they stood, crying. Their daughters have been absolutely just destroyed, killed, viciously killed. And the young man who loves the police departments, he had cancer and has cancer, very bad cancer. There wasn't from people sitting there, Democrats, there wasn't a hand clap. Nobody stood. They were just stone-faced.
That's the Democrats for you, right? He called it in the beginning of that speech. There's nothing I can do that will make you stand, clap, cheer, smile. Nothing. They did clap when he called Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas and said, "Would you like 5 more years of war?" Yeah, she clapped for that. That doesn't look like it's going to be happening after Ukraine has agreed to their part of a ceasefire deal, and now it's being brought to the table on Russia. We joke about the Democrats, but the reality is that they're just crap people right now. I mean, you have these cases where women are being brutally raped and murdered, and they can't honor the mother. You have the young boy with cancer. They can't stand up and clap for him. These shouldn't be political issues. I almost understand the Lake and Riley, the Jocelyn Nungary stuff a little bit more than I do the DJ Daniel stuff, but it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Meanwhile, the Trump administration just continues to persist. 543 criminal aliens, 7 gang members busted in Houston area ICE raids. This is a massive, massive number. Multi-agency, local, state, federal law enforcement task force arrested more than 500 criminal aliens during a week-long series of targeted raids. The arrests included 7 documented gang members, ICE officials said. A field office spokesman for ICE out of Houston said that the enforcement and removal operations said the multi-agency task force hit the Houston area streets between February 23rd and March 3rd to bolster public safety, national security, and border security. ICE officials say those arrested were charged for or convicted of crimes, including 140 criminal illegal aliens convicted of aggravated felony or other violent offenses such as homicide, aggravated assault, domestic violence. 34 of these criminal aliens had been charged or convicted of a sex offense or child sex offense, such as aggravated sexual assault of a minor, possession of child pornography, or rape. These are the people that the Democrats are defending, mind you, that they don't want deported, mind you. 38 criminal illegal aliens convicted of illegal firearm offenses, such as unlawful carrying of a firearm, alien in possession of a firearm, and aggravated assault with a firearm. 52 criminal illegal aliens charged or convicted of illicit narcotics offenses such as drug trafficking or possession of a controlled substance. 51 criminal illegal aliens charged or convicted of property crimes such as burglary or theft. And 93 criminal illegal aliens charged or convicted of driving while intoxicated. This is who the left wants to keep here. This is who they defend. No humans illegal. Please say undocumented. No, I won't. I refuse to. It's insanity. The Democrats are operating under the guise of insanity. We can laugh about Rosie O'Donnell self-deporting, but we were actually seeing a lot of illegal aliens self-deporting. They want to have that opportunity to live the American dream, and there's going to be illegal aliens that the only crime they committed was crossing the border illegally. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. If I'm living in one of those hellhole countries and I'm there with my 4 kids, yes, I would try to sneak into this country too to live that American dream and give them a life that you can't dream of in these other countries. I understand that. You need to do it the right way. You need to do it the right way. And the Democrats getting out there, grandstanding, defending illegal aliens, fighting against deportations, it's insanity to me. Absolute insanity. But this is where we're at. Huge Houston ICE raid. 543 criminal illegal aliens, 7 gang members busted. This was between February 23rd and March 3rd. We need to do more on the deportation front. Congress needs to step up, help Kristi Noem, help Tom Homan, get some more funding to get this deportation off the ground. But this is what we need. This is what we need, and this is what Trump is working towards. Lord willing, we can get these numbers up. Lord knows we need to. It's 11:48 on Super Talk. When we get back, we're going to check in with Chad Benson, see what he's got planned for the Chad Benson Show this afternoon. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
11:53, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I'm Chris Hand. Truth, social, Instagram, Twitter, at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. Chad Benson's in the studio. What up, Chad?
What are you up to?
Not much, man.
I heard you guys talking about the driverless cars.
What do you think? Would you
I love them. I've done I did Waymo a whole bunch. And the funny thing is, I hopped right in the back, never had a fear or worry. I'm like, I just sat there, hopped right on my phone, just drove me around. I didn't care.
That's where I did Waymo in Phoenix.
Yeah, because that was one of their hubs. So, because, Phoenix, they're like, people really don't care if people get hit by a Waymo car in Phoenix.
Nobody
and they
cares.
actually did kill somebody.
Yeah.
But that person ran out in the middle of the night in all jet black. There was a person wasn't going to see them.
Well, and then I've heard horror stories of those Waymo cabs in San Francisco.
They honk at each other.
Or when they have, like, homeless people stopping them.
Oh, I know. It's
standing
crazy.
in front, knocking on the window.
San Francisco also had a problem where they'd all come to a four-way stop, and they would pull out, and then they would start honking at each other. And they would just honk, and people are screaming at them, and they're just honking at each other. And there's nobody in the damn car.
I like the idea of driverless cars.
I have no problem with it. I don't. And I got in the back and just, I don't care. That's why I'm here. So let's do it.
I love the idea, though, for, like, the freedom that it could give some people that don't have it right now.
Yeah.
You know, like blind individuals, amputee veterans, the elderly guy who just had his license taken away because he's not.
Because their kids suck.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because the kids are awful.
Yeah. So it's also, this is where Uber and everybody wanted to go originally. And they want to do 18-wheelers. That's the other big thing they're working on.
That scares me a little bit more than.
Yeah. But that's probably a ways away. Wait till the airplane comes.
You think that's.
Hell yeah, of course. I mean, it's autopilot for most of the time anyways.
Fair.
But the thing is, the big issue isn't whether or not the car that's driverless is good. It's the idiots next to you that drive that you worry about.
This is true.
This
is my biggest complaint about Tennessee. It's like the plates are just camouflage. I don't know if I'm next to a grandma from Shelbyville or somebody from New York who's very angry.
Yeah, because they drive angry.
They do.
Yeah. Well, it's like L.A. You drive angry. Well, you have no choice. Because if you don't drive angry, you don't drive.
That's Boston. That's how I was raised.
Yeah, right. So, but I enjoyed it. I never had any fear of it. It was really weird. I just hop in and just go. I'm like, all right. Well, because GMC gave me a truck to drive that allowed me to go driverless, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
They let me tell. Oh, dude, it was so cool. I just put it on.
People are like, oh, but they're hackable. I'm like, yeah, your car is hackable right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes in a few years because everything, it used to be technology doubled every 4 to 6 years. Now it's doubling every 4 to 6 months at times.
Yep.
So where it's going to be in 2 years is potentially 10 times what it is now.
Can't even comprehend it.
No. It's going to be incredible. So I'm pumped about it.
What was the final tally on our poll over there on the driverless cars? Ooh, 73% said absolutely not.
You guys are all terrified. I don't want to let anybody drive. And people that you don't like driving? No, I don't. It sucks.
Not a fan.
I mean, I don't mind it, but I would rather not. I mean, if I could have a driver, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
There's a famous guy, Don LaFontaine's the greatest voiceover actor of all time. He's the inner world, that guy. Back in his day, in the 80s and 90s, he had his studio. He didn't have a studio. Home studios weren't a thing. He had a limo drive him from place to place. He would run out, go do a voiceover, come back into the limo, and they would drive him off somewhere else. And that's how he did his job back in the way back days. Driving. I go cross country in it. I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do the cross country. Just like sitting down and then charging for that long would be a pain.
Yeah, well, yeah, that it can be that, but those things are all going to change. That's all going to get much better in the coming years. I can't wait, and I'm not afraid of the no steering wheel, no pedals thing either.
See, I want the steering wheel. I want to be able to take over if I need to.
Yeah, but I want to sit in the back. Get one of those dolls to sit in the front. It looks like I got some sort of like, chick assassin driving me around.
Yeah, right. What stories are you paying attention to today?
Chick assassins. That's what it's all about.
That's the number one. That's the lead.
We're going to talk about Department of Education, USAID. Why are you guys burning stuff?
That's interesting, right? Well, the interesting part to me is that you have people on the left that are upset about it and people on the right that are upset about it.
When Nicole Wallace goes, I've been in government like my entire life, and at no point in time did we ever burn anything unless it was, it's you're being at like the 13 hours. You're being attacked. You got to burn all this stuff.
Well, they only burn and shred when enemies are about to get their hands on the information.
Yeah.
So my thought goes, are you saying that the Trump administration is the enemy that's about to get their hands on the information?
Yeah. Or did Trump order it? See, because I've heard the left go, Trump ordered this. That's what they're trying to. And I'm like, oh, here we go. But it is weird. And everybody says, it's not that weird. I'm like, really? So if your wife had a piece of paper and it's got something written on it and you wanted to see it and she wouldn't let you, then she burned it, you would probably think there's something up.
And if she had so many pieces of paper that she didn't want you to read, that the shredders were going to need a break.
The shredders got tired.
You'd be a little bit nervous.
Yeah,
You'd
so
be a little nervous.
we can talk a little bit about that. We got a bunch of other wackadoo stuff to talk about as usual. We'll talk a little bit about Trump and them, and obviously Rosie O'Donnell. I heard about that's Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh my gosh! Hey, it's Rosie O'Donnell from the Flintstones.
That's like it's like League of Your Own. All right, but you had a talk show that was big.
Yes.
So go with that, Lee. Don't say, the worst thing you've ever done. I couldn't even tell you. I think John Goodman was in it.
Yes, John Goodman was. He was Fred.
Yeah.
And then there was, I don't even know who else there was, but the star was
Wasn't
never
one of the
Rosie.
what wasn't one of the bald ones?
Baldwin
That's right.
was Barney. Not the guy that killed that lady.
Rick Moranis was Barney.
Baldwin was in the second one, Viva Rock Vegas.
Oh,
yes.
That's
because the first one did so well that nobody came back for the second one, not even Rosie.
But yeah, it was the non-murdering Baldwin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he murdered. I don't think he meant to do that.
Pointed a gun and pulled the trigger.
Every guy in the world, if you hand us a gun in a cowboy outfit, we're like, I'm pulling this. You guys were stupid to hand this to me. This is what I dream of.
Chad's in next, defending the honor of the Baldwins on Super Talk.